Welcome back to another episode of Athlete POV. We're sitting down with Iowa State's Morgan Kane. We're excited to have her on. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. So many different things, going on with her, Iowa State, and the tournament coming up. What's going on, Morgan?
Yeah, happy to be here. Super excited.
Great, yeah. And something that my team and we found most interesting, and I think that really stood out the most, was on top of school, on top of basketball itself, you're involved in so many different things, like extracurricular, like stuff you organize. What do you say that you're most proud of, you think, out of everything not school and basketball related?
Oh man, I'm gonna just kind of accumulate all of that. I'm most proud of being a part of the community and making a difference, not only on the court but off the court. So I'm a treasurer of the Student Athlete Advisory Council, and then I'm on a couple other councils, the Athlete Advisory Council and like the Student Athlete Council, or I meant the Student Body Council. And they've just been awesome opportunities for me to voice my opinion and thoughts as a student athlete and to just help improve the experiences of students and student athletes coming underneath me from future freshmen. So I've just loved being a part of the community, and why not help make a difference?
Yeah, right. I mean, in your platform and with like the reach you have, use it in the best way possible. But now, with all that you do, what would you say is like the secret to managing everything and sort of like a happy balance?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I started a nonprofit organization when I was seventh, eighth grade, so I've had a little bit of practice with managing time, but that just goes from staying organized. And I always use a calendar. That just helps me go from point A to B and prioritize your time. When you need to sit down and do homework, you got to put that aside from friends and buckle down and
Right.
get the work done. But definitely prioritizing it. It takes practice and it takes a lot of time. But the once you get the hang of it, you're golden.
Right. And now I guess that kind of relates to the way Athletic Minds is formed with I use a Google Calendar, right? Everything is in a Google Calendar. And the way I go by it, if it's not in the Google Calendar, it doesn't exist.
Oh yeah. I don't know what I do without my
Right, yeah. Yeah. So I mean that's organization, like time management is probably very key to everything that, comes with being a student athlete with the platform you have. Um
Absolutely. And even with travel too, like you gotta stay on top of it with
right.
professors as
Definitely,
well.
and we'll get into traveling in a second. I have something
Yeah.
about that. But now, with like recent team success, is that a distraction at all? Compared to past years, where Iowa State now top 10 team in the country, is that ever a distraction to you guys?
No, I don't think. No, it's not a distraction because on the teams that I've been on since my freshman year, yeah, we have our highs and we have our lows, but you just kind of have to blur out all the outside noise,
Hmm.
all the crowd noise, and really focus on what your coaches are telling you, having that buy-in with your team, and just doing what you need to do.
Right. And now, what's like the mindset going into the tournament? Because now you're gonna probably be Iowa State, a top seeded team, right? Is there what's the mindset going into the tournament?
Yeah. I would say just excitement and just
Hmm.
ready to get on the court and go play. But the mindset hasn't changed from the first day of practice when we all came in and got ready. The coaches said, "All right, like we have expectations and we know that we can be a great team."
Hmm.
And so we've always pushed ourselves to be the best. So
Hmm.
our mindset going into the tournament is, all right, we're going to continue. And you know that there's a little bit more like something on the line. When you lose, you're done.
Right.
So everyone's giving it 110%. And so why not be the most motivated team in the country to just go prove yourself that you've been proving for the last 3 months of season?
Absolutely. What do you think is like some of the most motivating factors you think? Like you mentioned at the beginning of the year to now, the mindset really hasn't changed with how things operate. What's
Mm-hmm.
like, and then you mentioned how the bit like it's now or nothing. Like with the tournament and like
Exactly.
the Big 12 tournament, like you lose, you're done.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest motivating factor from now it's a now or nothing situation?
For sure. Biggest motivating factor is the want to win. To go win it all, go win the Big 12 tournament, go win the NCAA tournament, and go make an impact in
Hmm.
those games. I think the best teams are the teams that can kind of have a tunnel vision of their goals and what they want to accomplish.
Right. And now, where you came from towards the beginning of the year and really the past 4 years, I'm sure, like, it's not just by luck that you're here in this situation with your team. What are some of, like, the training non-negotiables that you and your team follow?
Yeah, absolutely. Strength and conditioning has been such a big part of just like the summer workouts, and we're lifting and we're conditioning. I think it's so interesting to watch games because I'm able to see the side of, man, that team put in so much work in the off season and they've been grinding to get to this point. Whereas people just see the buzzer beater shot, but it's hours and hours of practice and shooting on your own and watching film and individual workouts and the whole 9 yards.
Right.
So I think that, man, strength and conditioning is the one thing that comes to my mind. Is we do our lifting and we're preparing our bodies physically and mentally to get ready for every game, and after games we come in for recovery, and we're doing what we need to do to take care of our bodies to in the season get ready for the next game, but now really just prepping ourselves
Right.
for the next few games.
And it's sort of like going to battle. I feel like you do all this preparation, all you do in a set schedule every day, like it's constant. But and then now with training, you also have, say, the nutritional side, which is another huge aspect. What are some of your favorite healthy snacks that you can
Favorite
just go
healthy
on?
snacks? Oh my gosh, there's too many of them. We're lucky at Iowa State. We have a kind of a fueling station and a nutritionist on hand that helps us with all of our needs. And when we travel, they're able to fuel us with some great food. I'm trying to think of I've been really digging apples and peanut butter right now. That's just, I don't know. It's tried and true, or some good yogurt is is what I'd have to put my money on at the moment. It shifts throughout the season.
And now on a less serious note, we found something that was like your favorite spot is Texas Roadhouse. What's the order there? What's the order for Texas Roadhouse?
Man, you guys did some digging. Texas Roadhouse is too good. First of all, the rolls, and let's not pass up on that. The rolls and the butter combo, too good. I like the grilled chicken with a loaded potato and some veggies. I mean, all around, that's a solid meal.
You can't go wrong with, I mean, especially a loaded potato, like that's like
Yes.
cherry on top. That might be the main course on top of the grilled chicken.
Yeah. Add some rolls, you're good.
There you go. But now, going back to stuff in your community, during quarantine, and you know how COVID was such a huge like impact on everybody. Take me through yourself organizing a virtual 5K that we saw.
Yeah. Wow. That was a lot in itself because there was a lot of questions up and down. Okay, are we doing it in person? Are we doing it virtual? Back to in person. And a lot of other nonprofit organizations within like the community that I'm in were also going back and forth, virtual, non-virtual. But that was a great experience, a great lesson learned for my part that things are going to change and you have to adapt. So you have to kind of react to what's happening in your situation. And so I'm blessed that we were able to make it happen, and it was a huge success. And thank goodness for the opportunity for people to log in times on their phone, and I spent so many hours mailing T-shirts to people and emailing, and so I would say the biggest thing is communication. And that's something that I've seen in my personal life, in my athletics, in future careers. Everything is communication, and the more that you can communicate with people and stay on top of that, the easier your life is going to be.
Absolutely. And I kind of can relate to this virtual 5K thing because me, myself, I used to work with a company called Spartan Races, right? And we hosted one during the Thanksgiving time this past year. It was a virtual turkey trot. So, like, I was in charge of a social media marketing campaign where I had to send emails to all these running stores around the country to get people to sign up for it. and the whole process of like, we had this app where you log in your times on your phone. It was all like a big accountability thing with everyone who joined in, and like we were donating money to some causes too, so that was another benefit. But yeah, accountability, communication with everything, especially the person running it, like the top person. You know what I'm trying to say? Like that's definitely a bigger responsibility.
Yeah, grateful for delegation as well. Being able
Yes.
to have people in my corner come and help me out with what I needed. But I'm grateful that it was successful, and just like what you were saying, it's so important to work with people and have
Yes.
that accountability and communication.
Absolutely. And another thing we saw about yourself, you had an internship with Clemson, right? Tell me
I
about
did.
that. Tell me about that. How did that go? And what stays with you to this day from what you did?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So tell you a little bit about it. I was a strength and conditioning intern for Clemson Olympic sports. So every sport except men's and women's basketball and football. So with that, so I want to be a collegiate strength and conditioning coach in my future aspirations. And so blessed that my coaches were able to trust me here at Iowa State to let me go during the summer, because normally the summer is uh, summer training
Right.
for basketball. And so I had kind of built up trust with them, and they let me go, and I did all my summer trainings on my own in the mornings, or during our lunch break I'd do my sprints that
Wow.
my
Yeah.
team did that day. And so I went into the gym at like 9 o'clock at night to get my shots up. So I was able to hold that aspect together. But I was also able to learn a lot from strength and conditioning. I was able to work under some amazing strength and conditioning coaches, and just see how athletes are trained in a different light
Right.
outside of Iowa State. And worked with softball, soccer, tennis, golf, volleyball, all the sports. It was amazing. And soccer, Clemson, little shout out, they ended up winning the NCAA championship game, men's soccer. And so
Hey.
that was awesome to be able to see how they trained this summer. And I really took away their hard work. They love to get in the gym, and they love to grind it out and work hard. And just a tribute to them as athletes, they put in that time and that effort in the off season, and when it was game time and the big lights were on and the TV and the cameras were on, they performed from all the work that they had done in the future. And I think that personally transferred over with me as I came back to Iowa State. I just kind of remembered, man, like everyone's working hard. Now you got to translate it into your sport.
Right. And now that sort of goes with what you just said. Like everyone is training. One of Athletic Minds and Athlete POV's biggest like mantras is that if you ever like take a pause or stop in what your end goal is, someone's always there like on top of you, like trying to get an edge, sort of.
Yeah.
So go on.
Sorry. My coach always says, opportunity isn't lost, someone else takes it.
Right.
And that's something that stuck with me since freshman year, and something that goes back to what you're saying about you. If you take a break, someone else is getting ahead.
Right. And now Morgan doesn't just come out of nowhere. Someone had to influence you, right? So I'm trying to get at right now. Who are your biggest role models in your athletic life, in your like professional life, in your community aspect life? Who are some of your role models?
That's a great question, Charlie. Some of my role models, I'd have to say my parents, especially my mom, like my whole family, but my mom. My mom is one of my biggest role models. She does like cycling, and
Wow.
she competes in
Oh.
cycling. She pushes herself, and every day that she calls me and says, I just cycled to the top of a mountain. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this woman's amazing. She just pushes herself in just endless ways, and she gave everything to me and my siblings. And every basketball camp I wanted to go to, and Mom, I need a new pair of basketball shoes. She was always there to provide me with the things I need to be successful in all aspects of my career, athletics, school, and that's just the person that I look back and say, man, like that's my role model still to this day. And then I'd also have to say, man, there's so many. Jordan Pendleton, a strength and conditioning coach that I trained with my high school years, was huge role model to me. Used to be a football player, and he's a strength coach. And he got me the best that I could be to prepare myself for college. And we had a lot of talks, a lot of late night talks after lift of just kind of what college is going to look like and how I need to prepare myself and what do I need to be doing. And, you know, it's going to be hard, but you're going to see reward if you keep pushing yourself. And so he helped me get physically ready, and he helped me get mentally ready too. So
Right.
Those are the people.
And now, everyone you just mentioned between your mom and family, strength coach in high school, right? There's a common theme here. Everyone that you surround yourself with, it's sort of contagious with the energy that now you give off to everybody else. So I think another thing to get out of this could be your energy is contagious, whether it be good or bad. So why not present it in a great way to, to help other people, as well as taking it in from everybody else who presents where you want to be around as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd agree. And from it's just paying it forward, because now I love to be a part of the community and help other people. And when little girls are at our basketball games and want a signature or a photo, or I'm just so happy to help because I see myself in these little girls wearing basketball headbands and a jersey, just looking up to these players. So I think it's important to pay it forward as well.
Absolutely. And now going back, we mentioned this earlier about like traveling with your team, right? And how you could probably take buses, whether it be a plane, anywhere. Tell me, but now this one specific time, tell me about back in 2018 in Costa Rica. Tell me how that experience was, because I know that's not something everyone gets to do every year. Like, tell me how that was.
It was amazing. I want to go back to Costa Rica. We went to Costa Rica, the time between right when I graduated to the fall semester of my freshman year.
Right.
In between that summer. So I was fresh into basketball at Iowa State. Like, I just graduated. I've been at Iowa State for a month and a half. Trying to figure things out, do my laundry.
You're probably like, this is so cool. I'm going to college, go to Costa Rica. Hey, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I'm like, this is sweet. But that was a great opportunity for me to just get to know the girls on the team and kind of learn how I fit in with this and kind of my role on the team, and just build a genuine connection with your teammates, because it's hard to build a connection with recruiting over the phone, or you go see them for one day. And so that was looking back, that was such a memorable opportunity for me to just know the girls and just chat with them. And we hung out all the time and had so much fun. But playing basketball there was a lot of fun too, and learned a lot. My first college games were in Costa Rica. Like, that's cool.
Absolutely cool. And I mean, that's definitely a unique experience. But something else, my team and I, we did a little research.
You guys do a lot of digging.
We found another hobby of yours, hiking, right? So now we gotta know, what's the best spot? And near you, somewhere else, where do you like to go?
Man, I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Right.
So I love hiking in Utah. Southern Utah, Zion National Park. That's like, I went there every summer to go hiking. I absolutely loved it. I can think of a couple hikes that just so beautiful, in the canyon, seeing just kind of overlook over everything in the national park. And I'm still trying to I'm finding places in Ames, Iowa. We have a little state park about 20 minutes from here, and I go there in the summers a lot and just kind of walk around. It's no mountains, but there's hills.
Right.
We make it work.
Slightly different, but it's the same idea.
It's the fact of getting out into nature and just getting a breath of fresh air and enjoying what's around you.
Definitely. So now, basketball player, college basketball player. If you couldn't play basketball, name another sport you would want to play collegiately.
So the obvious answer would be volleyball. I played volleyball growing up. And I feel like a lot of basketball players would be like, yeah, I'd want to play volleyball. But I think I'd really want to do softball. Softball or like lacrosse. I think I'd have a fun time.
Okay.
Fun time with that. But volleyball would definitely be the number one. I'll just be a middle blocker.
I mean, whatever works, wherever you can fit in best. And I'm sure with everything comes like, a schedule that you follow with like all these different things, conditioning, strength training, everything combined, which you become accustomed to in basketball. So I'm sure you would make it work if you just put your mind to it,
Oh yeah, but played a lot of sports growing up, and my family was super outdoorsy, so we were always outside doing stuff. So grateful to be from an athletic background, so I can do somewhat good in some sports.
Definitely. All right, so now senior year now coming to an end probably, right? With tournaments over, when the tournament's over, the Big 12 tournament's over. Any plans post grad for you? Like what's your future look like after this year?
Yeah, still in the works, but I think I'm gonna come back for a COVID year. Use my COVID year eligibility.
Hey.
For one more year of playing. Still figuring out the details, but I have an extra year, so I'm gonna take advantage of it and still be with my team. I'm gonna get a minor in nutrition, so something that complements my major quite well.
Definitely.
And from there, grad school, get a master's and start working.
The best plans are when you have a plan, I feel. Because when you just like winging it, I feel like anything could happen, which isn't always bad. But it's good to have a solid idea what you want to do, and that's definitely a pretty solid plan.
Yeah, I've also come to learn a lot that plans change real quick.
Yeah, I can definitely speak into that as well. Anything could happen anytime. Just the ability to adapt, like you said earlier, is really what makes a person, their character.
Definitely.
Yeah. So now, one of the last things we always ask on Athlete POV to all of our athletes, if you had any advice to give someone that's going through a tough time, any advice you would give them, maybe particularly an athlete that was once in your shoes.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple things that I'd say. If they're going through a hard time, I'd say the hard times don't always stay. The hard times are gonna end eventually, and just keep doing what you're doing, keep working hard, and keep trying to make a change. If you're going through, every athlete goes through a dry spout or a time where they're struggling and, man, am I really supposed to be doing sports, or what am I doing here? I know every athlete at some point or another in their career thinks that, and I would just say to step back and just take it back to I love basketball. It really comes down to that. It's just you, a ball, and a hoop. And just take it back to the basics, because I think sometimes we can get wrapped up with practices and games and the frustration from coaches and parents. It adds up. It's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot to deal with on a daily basis, and I feel like it's not always talked about, but something that really needs to be acknowledged, like mental health. And you gotta check in with yourself and make sure that you're doing all right, because you're the first thing that matters. And my advice for like high school athletes, maybe wanting to play college, maybe not, is just keep working hard. Keep putting the hours, because those hours are going to pay off. I've, from my freshman year to my senior year of college, I put in a lot of hours, and I'm still putting in a lot of hours, and I still need to put in more hours. But it's rewarding as a senior to say the work that I did as a freshman wasn't for nothing. Like, it paid off, and I didn't see the rewards right away, but slowly and surely, I was able to, for me it was confidence. I was able to build my confidence and trust in myself to be a player that I want to be, and to help help my teammates and my team be successful. So keep working hard and keep doing what you need to do. Keep pushing yourself mentally and physically, and just keep searching for outlets to be successful because it's in you.
Definitely. And I feel like that just goes without saying. Like, if one thing doesn't work, keep going at it. And then, like you said a little bit earlier, break it down. The simple things, like why, like you said, why am I here? Why am I like in this like gym or something? Go back to the simple times. Like, I love basketball, or I love what I'm doing. And then you just got to go from there and like build back up to where you want to get to.
Totally. I had a coach when I was in high school, and she always said, like, think of one core memory of you in your sport. Something that when the times get hard, you can think back to that time and think of your why. A lot of the times you got to figure out what's your why. Why are you in basketball? Why are you playing sports? Why are you putting yourself through this? I think of that when I'm 6 in the morning conditioning, running up the hill. What's your why? And I think back to early mornings before high school, like before school started when I was in high school. Me and my dad would go to the rec center gym, and we would just shoot hoops, and he'd rebound for me, and I would just shoot, and no one else would be in the gym because it's 6:30 in the morning. And so that's just the memory that I go back to. That kind of helps me remember my why of why I do this.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said that better. Like, you got to really find out like your why, and that's so important because it gives you like not only motivation to where you want to be, but it gets you on the right path sort of too. And then you mentioned like the people around you, and then the contagious energy of everyone, and overall just makes like positivity in what you're doing. And I feel like that's really important.
Oh, absolutely. Super important, but something that I've not always recognized and talked about.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it's great to be doing these podcasts, to just like keep communicating and get that out there for other athletes.
We want to thank Morgan for coming on. We wish Iowa State the best in this upcoming tournament, and we're looking forward to see how far you can take the team.
Cool, great. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate being on the show.
Of course.